Have you ever wondered who the very first philosopher was? Long before Socrates, Plato, or Aristotle, there was a man who looked up at the sky and asked, "What is the world really made of?" That man was Thales of Miletus, a Greek thinker from over 2,500 years ago, and he's often called the father of Western philosophy and science. Today, we explore his life, his ideas, and how one man's curiosity helped shape the world we live in. Before philosophy, there were myths. The ancient Greeks believed the world was ruled by gods. Thunder came from Zeus. The seas were Poseidon's domain. Everything mysterious was explained through divine power. But in the 6th century BCE, in the vibrant city of Miletus, one man dared to ask a different kind of question. Not, what do the gods want? But, what is the world made of? This man was Thales of Miletus, and he's often called the first philosopher in Western history. He didn't look to Olympus for answers. He looked at nature, logic, and reason. Thales was born around 624 BCE in Miletus, a wealthy Greek city on the coast of modern-day Turkey. He was a polymath, a philosopher, mathematician, astronomer, and even an engineer. He traveled widely, some say to Egypt and Babylon, where he studied mathematics and astronomy. Back home, he became one of the 7 sages of Greece, a title given to the wisest men of the time. Thales didn't write any books, so everything we know about him comes from later thinkers, like Aristotle and Herodotus. But what we do know is this: he changed the way people thought about the universe. Thales' most famous idea? That water is the fundamental substance of everything. To us, that may sound odd. But in a world where people explain nature through gods and myths, Thales said, no, there's a natural cause. And it's water. Why water? Because it's everywhere. It nourishes life, shapes landscapes, and exists in multiple forms. This was more than a theory, it was a paradigm shift. It was the first step towards science, looking for natural causes instead of supernatural ones. He also believed the Earth floated on water, predicted a solar eclipse, and contributed to geometry, like measuring the height of pyramids using shadows. Thales wasn't just about big ideas, he was practical too. In astronomy, he reportedly predicted an eclipse in 585 BCE, an incredible feat using Babylonian star charts and logical reasoning. In mathematics, he's credited with early geometric proofs, including what's now known as Thales' theorem, that a triangle inscribed in a semicircle is always a right triangle. And get this, he once used his knowledge of weather and crops to invest in olive presses ahead of a good harvest. He made a fortune and proved that philosophers can be practical too. Thales showed that reason and observation could unlock real-world power. Thales died around 546 BCE, but his ideas live on. He was the first to say, let's understand the world through logic, not legend. In doing so, he became the father of philosophy and laid the foundation for science, mathematics, and critical thinking. Aristotle praised him. Later thinkers built on his work. Without Thales, there might be no Plato, no Newton, no Einstein. So next time you ask why, you're carrying the torch lit by Thales of Miletus, a man who looked at the stars and saw knowledge instead of mystery.